Off a bad couple months ago, I said I'd wondered if you'd stay with me. Riding back on a bad idea, and now I know it was a fantasy.
What's up, Fredonia? You're listening to the Local Lowdown on WCVF 88.9 The Voice and WDVL 89.5 The Inferno. My name is Olivia. I'm your co-host, and I'm your field interview lead.
Hi, I'm Elena. I'm your other co-host, A&R lead, and executive producer.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm your production lead.
Awesome. Well, tonight's episode is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems in a group effort to promote and showcase the local scene here in Fredonia, as well as Western New York at large. Welcome to the Local Lowdown.
On this episode this week, we have the Midroom Drifters.
Hey.
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
How are you guys feeling?
Good.
We're
All right.
excited to have you.
Awesome.
Can we start off with having you guys introduce yourselves and your part in the band?
Sure.
All right. Hello, I am Neil. I play drums. I've been with these guys for probably 2 years now, about. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
I'm Owen. I play the guitar. I write some of the songs. I sometimes sing.
My name's Christian. I'm the bassist, and I also sometimes sing.
And you guys are missing a player today,
that's
correct?
We are.
Want to shout him out?
Yeah, our other player is Zach Fidel, Christian's brother. He also writes some of the songs. He plays guitar, also sometimes sings. He does the majority of the work, actually.
Yeah,
So
he does all the recording.
he was really upset that he had to miss this because he's on vacation right now. And he's like, they need to know that I do pretty much everything.
Yeah, right.
And he does.
He was also the previous guy on drums, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was,
Oh,
he was
got
the
you.
previous
Used to be a
drummer.
drummer,
So.
yeah.
Little switcheroo.
Moved up on the chain, yeah.
How did you guys all meet and form this band?
So it started back. We've known each other since like kindergarten,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
But-
we're childhood friends.
but we started playing music together in 2014, I think it was.
I think so, yeah. I think it was maybe a year earlier, 2013 to 2014. We were 15 or 16 at the time. We had another guy that started the band with us who's not in the band anymore.
No, I think he's like an English teacher in South Korea now, and he's like
Oh,
he's like married and he's like super religious, which is cool. Like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But we don't. Well, I haven't talked to him in a little bit, so I don't know. But I think that's what he's doing.
what a turn of events.
Yeah.
Quite a change.
That's the drifter to Korea pipeline.
Yeah. Right.
We'll check back in 10 years to see where y'all are at.
Exactly. Well, something that you guys have posted on your Instagram is your guys' Spotify Wrapped, and that gave us a little insight to some of your inspirations.
Oof.
Some repeats that we saw were Fall Out Boy, Paramore, Green Day, and Mom Jeans. How are those inspirations input into your creativity and into your band as a whole?
Notice how she didn't bring up Borislav Slavov?
Yeah, listen, I noticed. I know that's a me thing.
Yeah. No,
Hey, and sometimes you need those standout
Yeah.
options.
yeah, because it was kind of interesting. I go back to the story of like the Hella Mega Tour when we were talking about that.
Yes.
Because those were legitimately our three biggest influences when we were starting everything out. You know,
Yeah.
it was Fall Out Boy, Weezer,
I was about to
Green
say I
Day.
listed two of them.
Yeah. Fall Out Boy, Weezer, Green Day. And I remember we were not going to go to that show because the closest one was in like Pittsburgh. And we were
Yeah.
like, ugh. And then COVID happened. And then we were so starved of like any kind of, you know, live experience. We're like,
Real.
we're going to Pittsburgh, boys.
Yeah.
We're getting down there. But I think that in the beginning, you know, we came into those influences. We didn't really start to use a lot of those influences until this last album, I would say. This was kind of a concerted effort to be more of like that 90s, 2000s alt rock kind of sound, whereas before it was kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say directionless because that has like a negative connotation, but it was a little more loose.
I think just now that we're older, when we were younger, we were a little bit more prideful, so we really wanted to be different and do
Yeah.
our own stuff. And now that
Yeah.
I'm older, I'm like, man, Mike Dirnt is just such a good bass player. I'm going to use some of his techniques.
Yeah.
Were there any other inspirations that maybe I didn't mention or that you guys didn't have on your Spotify Wrapped that you guys use in the band or have in the past?
I think specifically on this record, like at least when I was writing songs, I was coming from a place of like Coheed's really on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Born Without Bones is really on my mind because I like their guitar stuff a lot. But more than anything, we just because it's a bit of, I don't want to call it like a concept record, but the idea was like, can we not necessarily satirize but appreciate the things that were cool about like the 2000s emo scene kind of
Yeah,
thing,
right.
in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. So like that's where my head was at when I was writing my half of the record.
Interesting. Yeah.
In your Spotify bio, it says that you guys all formed as a band in 2014 when being asked to open for a band called Uncle Ben's Remedy. What about that show gave you guys a spark to keep the band going all these years?
Oh man,
was
Uncle Ben
fun.
and the Remedy Boys. That
They're great. They like kind of were, I think they were like students to another band when they were younger. So somebody helped them
Gotcha.
out. So then they were like, oh, we're going to help this next band out. And
Take
it's kind
you
of keep
under
the
our
chain.
wing.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so they've been super, when we were younger, they were super like into just reaching out and being like, do you guys just want to like play for like 15 minutes before we
gotcha.
play? Or in between when we're taking a break.
I love that.
Yeah, they were really great.
yeah, and they're really cool. We they most of them worked at the high school that we went to growing up.
Yes.
And so we got to know them pretty well there. And then just over the years, like they have been super supportive, and they're just really cool. Like they're this like they call it outlaw country,
Yeah, they do call it Outlaw.
and they play a lot in Buffalo.
I was about to ask, are they still playing out? Oh,
Yeah, no,
awesome.
they're doing good. They tour sometimes. They like go out and about. I think they're playing at like the Kaz sometime soon.
Oh, nice.
But we love those guys. They
Oh, yeah.
have some really great records out there.
And I think my first show with the band, we actually opened for them too.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
I
actually
think
kind
you're
of
right,
funny.
yeah.
That was like October of 23. So
Yeah, was that-
they,
Full circle.
Was that
They
like
were
an
fun.
album release show, or was that just like because it was at the Versailles Community Hall?
It
right?
was. Yeah, I think they were doing an album release for like their, was it their fourth album? Must have been their fourth album at the time.
Mm.
I think so, something like that.
But yeah, they were just like, yeah, we want everybody we know to come play, have some fun.
Yeah,
We're like, we like having fun too, man.
we're right there.
We're right there.
It's like an initiation.
I
You gotta open
guess so.
for them to be in the band.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so continuing on through those earlier days, like you said, you started in 2014 and leading up until 2020, where we see your first release, Graduation Remastered, which came out that year. What were some of those early memories like?
Ooh, because
I remember one specifically. So we were writing Preacher's Daughter. We were in the high school band room, in the recording room. And like the bass part I was writing was just like normal. And like I looked at Zach and Owen, and I was like, we got to do something else. I got to do something else. And that was how the bass part came out. And we were like, I remember just that was the first time I made like a bass part with other musicians like in the room. And
you
we were like,
first
"Yeah,
taked
that's
it
great."
too.
Oh, wow.
I did first take it.
Nice.
You just came out, and I was like, "That's it." Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, as you should.
Preacher's Daughter, right? You're talking
Yep,
about? Oh
Preacher's
yeah,
Daughter.
yeah. First time I heard that, the bass is what really caught my ears about that. I was like, oh my damn, this is like catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah, it wasn't anything else. It was just the bass line.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was at that time. I want to say it was 2013. I had started recording some music in the band room, and then I brought you in. You were like, "My brother plays drums," and I was like, "All right, cool." And
That works.
we had the other guy in the band at the time, and we started actually recording because Zach had gone to like music sound recording
Yeah,
school.
he has a degree.
He has a
Sound
degree
recording.
when up in
Yeah.
Canandaigua. He
Yeah.
like set up his home studio. So 2020, we brought like all those songs that we'd put together when we were in high school and kind of started recording them like for real. And I think we put it at like fall 2020. That's when we had it out.
I think so.
Yeah.
Late summer for sure. Late summer, early fall.
So it was cool. So because we got to see like kind of the the end product of all the songs we'd come together over the course of the years. And we wrote a few new ones for that record, but most
we
of
did.
them was from our high school years.
That's really interesting to me too. I don't recall in my time hosting us interviewing a band where their first project actually came out while they were still like working on it in high school. What was there anything that you felt was different about that experience, or anything specific about that experience, like walking down the halls or anything like that?
I don't think they were as good songs as we write now.
It was fun
I understand.
to go back when we were 20 in 2020?
Yeah, because I had just started grad school when we started putting that record together.
So it was
I
fun to
I
listen
understand.
to what we were thinking was really fun and cool, like 4 years prior, or actually 6 years prior. And we were just like, okay, I see why I liked that, but maybe I'd change that now.
Yeah. I
Because
gotcha.
we were in such a rush to put that record
Yeah, we were
out,
like, we
too.
just got to get it over
It's like,
with.
we got to do it. If we don't do it now, we're not going to do it ever. And looking back, I'm like, okay, we could have let this
time.
cook for a couple more weeks, maybe. But I still think it's a good record. I listen to
Yeah.
it sometimes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Every so often, I'll like put it on. I'm like, all right, this is not as bad as like my brain wants me to think it is.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
totally. They're still like, well, I can't like name them specifically,
That's
but
the problem,
there are lots of songs that still hold up. I listen to them, so
So after this, more singles were released into your second album, Nice While It Lasted. What did you learn from that first release till now?
That we can take our time.
Yeah.
I think the biggest for recording was picking like a tone or a sound for an instrument before we like wrote like 8 songs that were completely different.
Yeah.
So that one, I think we learned how to a lot more cohesion. It sounds like very similar across the whole album versus like, yeah, that song's a little bit like this genre and that song's a little bit like that genre.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that was a really big lesson that I think we're bringing really into this next record, because we went into this one of just like, here's the vibe, here's the overall like tone and the message and the situation that we kind of want to try to capture here. And I don't know that this record would have gone that way if that last record wasn't like, okay, this cohesion thing is kind of cool. Like this feels like a full piece rather than just a collection of songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Was that release was that self-produced or self-recorded, all that?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Zach does all that.
Ah,
He wants
gotcha.
everybody to know he
Yes.
he does everything.
Well, I was just gonna.
Valid, though. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a lot
Right.
of work.
Dude is the hardest working man in South Dayton, New York.
No, he really is. Every time he like calls, he's like, yeah, I'm in the studio and like I got this part I want you to do like next weekend. I'm like, you were just there yesterday. He's like, I know, it's all good.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Yeah.
I
This is
love
my
it in
life,
here.
Chris.
He's just locked in there.
Always locked in.
Do you have any advice for any band that's working towards that? Again, kind of self-recording, producing, anything like that?
I think the main thing that I would want people to get comfortable with is like that piece of taking your time, right? And letting that, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that kind of mutual work, that collaboration piece, right? Because what our typical process is that like either Zach or I will come in with like the bones of a song, you know. Usually I'll write like the lyrics out and like structure it, or he will do the same thing, and we'll come in, and then I like to think I just kind of let it go into the universe, and I'm like, all right, just go do something cool with it. So Neil comes in, adds drums.
Awesome.
That makes it pretty cool. Chris adds a saucy bass line. And then Zach just adds everything that you think could possibly be cool about the song into it.
Yeah, everything that you think you're like, man, this would be cool to add. Zach started like, yeah, I know. he's like
Actually,
one step
I
ahead.
did that
done
last
that.
week.
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
Yeah, I remember like there's one song we're working on right now, which is the title song of the record, "Have Fun, Be Safe," where I was like, man, it'd be really cool to have like horns in this, and he was like, okay. And I was
Done.
listening to the most recent version of it, and I was like, didn't even know he played that instrument.
Yeah, right.
So I wanted to go back to Nice While It Lasted, the first song on that called Welcome to the Show. It's got an entrance from a radio jock, and it's introducing the band. Why did you guys decide to start your album this way?
Ooh, I used to be in radio, actually.
Yeah.
When I was at my college, I was the general manager and also the music director of the station.
Good for
And I
you.
ran 2 shows a week. So we were coming into that. I was newly in grad school, right? Or I guess it was my second year of grad school.
Yeah, I think it was your second year. 'Cause
Right.
You were pretty comfortable with the radio. back
Yeah,
then.
yeah. So I was like a year out of it, and I was like, man, I really miss doing radio. So I was like, I think it'd be cool, like if we did like, we set this record up as like it's a radio broadcast, which I think we really only like just do that thing in the beginning, and we're like off to the races.
Oh yeah.
And there's no other like no other like parts of the album that reference that. But like to me, it makes sense. And to me, I'm like, yeah, it's a radio broadcast,
Yeah.
And us being a part of a radio station, of course, had to ask.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely.
What were your shows about?
It was a lot of like, I don't know. Me and my friends would just kind of go in there and we'd talk about like current events. We'd play music we like. We would talk about those songs. We did a lot of like movie reviews.
I used to host a movie review show. Not anymore.
Really?
It was a lot of work.
Yeah, honestly,
Or it was not movie. We watched a pilot of a random show and then reviewed it.
okay.
Similarly.
I kind of describe it as like I was holding the entire campus like verbally hostage because we were playing like in the campus center in the cafeteria, and we were playing like outside, and we were playing across like different parts of the campus.
Yeah.
So like from 8 to 9 on a Wednesday evening, you're gonna hear Owen, and you're gonna listen to the songs he likes. You're gonna hear his opinions about things, and somebody else was there too, and whatever they were talking about was
Nothing
fine.
you could do about it.
Wow.
You can't change this channel. We are stuck on this.
What was the worst movie you've ever reviewed?
The worst movie I ever reviewed. I'm trying to think back to the time of like movies that were coming out. That's not gonna sound good on the radio.
It's all coming back. It's like muscle memory. You're like,
What movies did I really hate back then? Oh God, I don't know if I can say that one. That's too controversial. That's just a me opinion. I know it's not the right opinion, but
mine is Spaceballs.
really,
I
I
don't like
love
that movie.
Spaceballs.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of
I
on
don't
your
like it.
side there. It didn't do anything for me.
I mean,
No.
it's not supposed to be good.
I understand that.
Yeah, but it's like,
I suppose.
I don't
That's
think it's
why I
bad
love
enough
it.
to be like back around.
yeah,
if that
why
makes
is the
sense.
best thing at the end of the movie? You know?
Because it's still a spoof movie at the end of
Well,
the day.
yeah, I guess.
I think the one thing I think about from that movie that I think holds up is at the end of the movie when he's like, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Barf." Your full name, Bartholomew. And I think about that every day of my life. But I don't
There's
know.
a lot of like bits and like gaffes in it, and I guess what it comes down to is like, is that by itself like in for you, or is it like, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I enjoy films like that where it's just like a bunch of visual gags and bits like that, but I guess if like you're not terribly into that alone just won't be enough or something.
I mean, I get it. Like there are movies that I'm like, I get and I understand. They speak to me. That
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people don't. So like my favorite,
Straight to the heartstrings.
my favorite comedy of all time is Hot Rod from 2007.
Oh,
I
got
just
you.
rewatched that the other day with my coworkers, and
It's a great movie.
I could not stop giggling. I was like, this has informed every ounce of my humor since 2007.
That's me with Pineapple Express. That
Classic.
one on repeat all the time.
Yes. Well, I
But-
never thought we'd be talking about Spaceballs on the local lowdown.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I feel like I had to slip it in at some
Yeah.
point.
Hey,
No,
that's
I'm
fair.
glad we went down this route. But
Yeah.
Sure.
I can't think of like the worst movie I reviewed. It's been too long. Been too long since I
Too
went
many
down that road.
movies.
Two movies. You're just so well versed.
I think also just
Exactly.
my standards were pretty low back then. So like, I saw a movie and I was like,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep. And then you also had to talk about it for an hour.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
no.
No.
I would play music for 40 minutes and then come and be like, whoa, blah, blah, blah. And
Fair.
So
then-
actually, this
Fair.
movie I watched this week.
But in any case, let's bring it forward to your most current releases. So we have Ghost Part 2 that recently came out, and also most recently, you all released Emo in February. I really like that song. I love how upbeat the instrumentals are in it and how catchy the melody is overall. And we've kind of hinted at it already, but is this leading up to a bigger project that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, so Emo, is so cool. That was that was mostly a Zach thing.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Zach showed me the chord progression for that, I was like, he's like, it's not going to make sense on paper, but when you hear it, you'll understand.
Let
And
him
then he
cook.
played it, and I was
Yep.
like, yeah, you're right. What do we do? What do you
Right.
need?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember he was like teaching us how to play it. And he's like, it's a lot of chords, but like if you listen to it, it makes sense. And I was like, it's like, all right.
Yeah, and that was the first song I played drums on. Actually,
I was
that
just
was the
about to
first
ask.
one I recorded the drums. Zach did the drums for Ghost Part 2 like way back or something, and you know
Yeah.
he did solid. So
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
and all that.
Neil
That's
didn't
why we
find
kept
anything
I was
wrong.
going to shout out the drums either way, but yes, the drum part's really awesome. in
Thank
that
you,
too.
thank you.
because we started this project. We started the discussions, I think, in like 2023 is when we started to talk about it. And Ghost Part 2 is one of the first songs that I had written for the album that we, started to record. Like, I think we recorded that like a year and a half ago, maybe.
It's been a long time.
So started that because it started off, it was just going to be like a little mini EP. Like we were thinking 3 songs. Like we're going to do Ghost Part 2, Zach was going to write a song, and then you were going to write a song. And we were going to put that out just to have something to release. And then we started writing those songs, and we're like, this is going to be an album.
Yeah, Zach and I just kept writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 3 more songs, and we're like, all right, now Neil and I are like,
Yep.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
6
okay.
songs.
Right, we're up to 15.
We're up to 15 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you
That's-
go about sequencing all that, like into a project?
So it started off with an idea of just like, okay, well, it's not going to be a 3-song thing. Let's do a 6-song thing. We'll each write 2 songs. And we're like, cool.
Yeah.
And then we got to like, well, I have these 2 other songs, so let's just make it a 12-song thing, and it'll be great. And then we're like, well, no, we need to fit all 15 in here because we need, 5 for me, 5 for Zach, 5 for Chris to sing.
Just to split it up.
And and it got to a point where we were at like 14, I think, and Zach had a song that we were trying to put together, and we were like, it's not really working right now. Let me write another one for Chris and be even up, so we'll have like kind of like an even, like this Owen half and this Zach
Yeah.
half, and then we'll mix them all up together. So we have the general structure down. We know what songs are going to be in what order. And now we're kind of just putting it together and mixing it and mastering it. Zach has like a Power Tools thing where he has like all the songs back to back to check the transitions.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
kinda cool.
awesome.
Yeah, he's got like a master track.
Love
He
stuff
listens
like
to.
that.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
one song flows into the
There's
I love that
Yeah.
stuff.
There's this one app where, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's something where you can do the same thing. So like I am a manager for a band, and we were just trying to figure out how the transitions would work, and there were, like, we couldn't find any sort of add-on to do that otherwise. So we ended up downloading this janky app just to be able to go through and hear what the transitions would sound like. And one of us were like, "It's fine," and we were like, "All good, sounds good, fine."
I remember, this is just a funny kind of aside, but when Zach was in his program, COVID happened and everybody had to go home. So like I got kicked out of my senior year of college because COVID was happening. We were all home.
Right.
And we were putting together this first album, and Zach was like, yeah, they kicked me out before they taught us how to master. So I don't know how to master. And I was like,
Wow, that's
Well,
crazy.
so we
That's crazy.
So I think what we did at the time is Zach ran it through like a software that mastered it for you, and we uploaded that, and then like Zach learned how to do it, and then like a year later we re-uploaded our graduation.
With his
Oh,
with his
master.
masters.
okay.
So that's why it's called our graduation remastered now, because it's all it's
It's
mastered
actually
by
Zach's
Zach
master.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually
Wow.
a Midroom Drifter original. No,
That is wild. That is wild.
That's terrible. Oh my gosh. Wow.
yeah, kind of. It's weird that they left that for the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And didn't think to teach it any of the other 3 years. But in
Like,
any case,
Hey, you got
I
everything
digress.
else, I guess.
I digress.
Go off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any sort of expected date or anything else specific that you can tell anyone who might want to listen to the album?
No, we don't. But
I thought to just check.
But we can make a little announcement. We have a third single coming soon, probably within the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Called Kitchen Floor, which I'm really excited about. It's one of my favorites on the record. the only reason we haven't released it yet is because Chris was on vacation, and then Zach is now on vacation, so we couldn't take a cover photo for the single art.
Oh.
So that one is locked and loaded, ready to go. But
Okay.
after that, most of the album is done.
Yeah, the majority of the work's done. We're just, I think there's one song that we're gonna like all go in a day
Yeah.
and just like get it over with,
Yeah.
get it done, and then the rest of it is, I think Neil, you're done. Other than the one song.
Yeah, I got that one
Yeah.
song to do.
I think all my vocals are done. I think most of my guitar stuff is done.
Most of my vocals are done, and I still have a lot of bass to do. So it's really, really on me, guys. I'm
So-
sorry.
Because Zach, like 2 weeks ago, he sent us copies of like his master tape with like all the things in 2 parts.
Yep.
So the first half of the album is like pretty much done.
Yep.
Like I think that's all mixed mastered. All the pieces we want are in there. The second half we're still working on, but like I want to say everything should be finished within the next 3 months, probably.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
definitely.
And we'll know the bass parts are freshly recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
There we
coming
go.
fresh off the press.
Fresh.
We are letting those cook as long as they need.
The songs are steaming.
Exactly.
Looking at them.
It's like there's a pie on a windowsill somewhere, and we're all collectively
Yeah.
floating towards it.
Yep.
It's not ready yet. I'm telling you.
It's like it smells ready. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think we've talked a lot about your guys' music. Let's do some listening. We're going to transition to your guys' music set. Take it away.
This is Oak Street Loser. One, two, three, four.
Off a bad couple months ago, I said I'd wondered if you'd stay with me. Riding back on a bad idea, now I know it was a fantasy. I can't complain, things weren't the same, but bottom of the bottom feels like the top to me. I know I sell myself so short sometimes. You must have let me know 1,000 times. They say it's hard to change, but I'm not the person I was 6 months ago. I thought I'd let you know. I guess I'm just the Oak Street loser, out here always making a scene. I know I'm just the Oak Street loser, drifting in the loneliest sea. I'm not tall, I'm not strong, that was easy to see. Now I'm just the Oak Street loser, out where everybody can see. I know you called me out 1,000 times. I tried to block you out with lies and simple rhymes. I'm the red flag you can't ignore. You are the pen, I am the sword. It's no secret that I ruined our rapport. I guess I'm just the Oak Street loser, out here always making a scene. I know I'm just the Oak Street loser, drifting in the loneliest sea. I'm not tall, I'm not strong, that was easy to see. Now I'm just the Oak Street loser, out where everybody can see. Oak Street loser. Oak Street loser. I guess I'm just the Oak Street loser, out here always making a scene. I know I'm just the Oak Street loser. loser, drifting in the loneliest sea. Hope Street loser, out here always making a scene. I know I'm just the Hope Street loser, drifting in the loneliest sea. I'm not tall, I'm not strong, that was easy to see. Now I'm just the Oak Street loser,
Now where everybody can see.
I know I'm just the Oak Street loser.
Come on, baby, party with me. All right, this one's called Until Tomorrow. This town isn't big enough for you and me, or anyone we run with. So we can pack our bags and run until we don't know anyone we knew. Tell yourself that it doesn't even matter. Tell yourself that you don't care. Tell yourself that it doesn't matter. So stay with me until tomorrow, when all your thoughts run dry and everyone can see. Stay with me until tomorrow, tomorrow. And there's a cold long night in my hand that I drift around. When there's no one left but you, and there's no telling what I can do. Told myself that it doesn't even matter. Told myself that I don't care. Told myself that it doesn't matter. So stay with me until tomorrow, when all your thoughts run dry and everyone can see. Stay with me until tomorrow, tomorrow. So stay with me until tomorrow, when all your thoughts run dry and everyone can see. Stay with me until tomorrow, tomorrow. So stay with me until tomorrow, when all your thoughts run dry and everyone can see. Stay with me until tomorrow, tomorrow.
This is Ghost Part 2 from our upcoming album, Have Fun, Be Safe. It is currently out streaming on all platforms. I didn't know that things could get much worse, and now I'm medicated. 10 milligrams with room for growth. We're ramping up the dose, my doctor indicated. I showed you all my favorite songs, then you tried to sing along. Eulogy for the broken-hearted, 6 feet down in the frozen garden, pushing daisies with thorns cut like razor blades. Eulogy for the broken-hearted. Did you know on the day we started, I knew I would ask you to stay? I told myself that I would be just fine, but then you were just fine. I wish I had a reason to hate you, but I don't hate you. No, I showed you all my favorite songs, then you tried to sing along. Eulogy for the broken-hearted, 6 feet down in the frozen garden, pushing daisies with thorns cut like razor blades. Eulogy for the broken-hearted. Did you know on the day we started, I knew I would ask you to stay? But you wouldn't stay. When I am gone, there you are, right where I belong. When I am gone, there you are, right where I belong. Eulogy for the broken-hearted, 6 feet down in the frozen garden, pushing daisies with thorns cut like razor blades. Eulogy for the broken-hearted. Did you know on the day we started, I knew I would ask you to stay? I showed you all my favorite songs. You laughed and tried to sing along. No, I can't listen to a single word. I showed you all my favorite songs. You laughed and tried to sing along. No, I can't listen. Where I belong.
All right, guys, that was an awesome set. Thank you guys so much for playing. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to bring it to a couple more questions for the night, you guys play quite a bit in Western New York, as far as Buffalo to here in Fredonia. You guys have been playing for quite a while. What have been some of your favorite show memories throughout the years?
Well, I had a lot of fun at the Halloween show at Valentine's. That was last year. That was real busy night, tons of people, and it was just a fun experience. So that was that was good. I hope we go back this year, or maybe there's another Halloween show somewhere. We'll see. It's fun to play. It's fun to play on Halloween. I was
Halloween's
Gandalf.
awesome, yeah.
Oh.
As you
very
should.
fun. Yep.
Yeah, you beat me to it because that was gonna be mine too.
Oh.
That was such a fun show. I was dressed as a Jackie Daytona from What We Do in the Shadows.
Awesome.
Oh.
Awesome.
Just a regular human bartender. And that was our first requested encore, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Good
fun.
for you.
Yeah, people were requesting an encore, and then they didn't stop.
Yeah.
They just kept going. They were,
Yeah,
it was like,
usually you hear
With,
like,
like,
a joke, like, oh yeah,
2-3
encore,
songs
like,
or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 1 in. We were very sweaty.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite. I think close second though was the Ironworks show. We
This is so fun.
Ironworks was a lot of fun. We had
It's a cool venue.
that was back when it was just you, me, and Zach still. Zach
Yeah.
was just on the drums,
I was not there.
and Neil wasn't there. Still one of my favorites, unfortunately.
Oh god.
Yeah, because we went there. We got asked to play. We opened for Never Ending Fall.
Yep.
And then Johnny and the Man Kids were there too, and
Awesome.
they're really cool guys. I like them a lot. They had like a VHS in their merch table, and I was
Yeah,
like,
they
"That's
did.
that's awesome." I was like, "That's so cool." And I felt it was like the most like I felt like a celebrity after playing music, because they had like a green room that was really nice, and people wanted to like take pictures with us afterwards, and I was like, "You guys don't understand. Like, we have like 200 Instagram followers."
Yeah, like right before that, like we had only been playing like local, like a couple bars here and there, like a random venue here or there. So like playing at Ironworks was like, oh, so this is what it feels like to be up
Yeah.
here.
Right?
It was like, yeah.
That was fun.
Haven't brought us back yet though, so if you're listening, Ironworks, please,
Yeah, right?
please, that made me feel alive.
Actually, there's a FRS alum that works there. So shout out
Oh,
Ironworks.
shout out Ironworks.
But yeah. Do you guys have any local bands that you would recommend to anyone who's listening?
Ooh, we caught Hit Girl the other week.
Yeah.
They
The
were
best.
mad cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have-
Asteroid Day is
Asteroid
like
Day.
one of my favorites, probably.
They're opening for us on May 2nd over at Valentine's. We're really excited for that.
Awesome.
They got great energy. We were at Mr. Good Bar.
Mhm.
We went to just watch them at Mr. Good Bar.
Oh yeah,
correct?
yeah, we did.
They were fun.
They were solid. I've
Yeah.
I've seen them at the Toy Box too. I've
Ooh.
told
Yeah.
Sebastian that if we play, he has to bring his own cymbals because he's a very heavy hitter. But they're
Oh,
all
yeah.
very good. Like Sterling's in that band too.
Yep.
Oh my god, I've seen him play like
Violin.
Mhm.
He can shred that. I asked him after a set once, how long he's been playing, and he's like been playing his whole life. Apparently, in the bands where he plays violin, it's all improvised. Like he doesn't
Yep.
like write part; he
Yeah.
just comes up with it on the spot.
That's
And,
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be a violin major here, and I was in the same studio as Sterling. So I've known him for a while,
Oh, yeah.
and he is absolutely incredible at what he does.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
shout out.
So I'm really looking forward to that show. It's gonna be
Yeah.
cool to like hang out with those guys.
But
'Cause
yeah,
you were saying after we saw them, they're like, man, like that reminds me a lot of like the energy we were bringing when we were like their age,
Yeah,
which
it
feels
was
like a very old person thing to say. And I've been feeling that for a little bit now, Chris.
Also, shout out to Chatterbox. Those I've seen them a few times. I'm buddies with a few of the members. They always do great. And Plymouth Knob I've seen several times, and yeah, they don't disappoint.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Chatterbox was gonna open for us one time actually.
Oh,
It was gonna be that weird like church gig that we had.
it was.
So
Oh,
it was good. They had to drop out
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah, it's
it worked
good
out
that
for
they
them
did.
because that was a weird gig. That
Why was it
one.
weird?
We went in. It was like
You
I
walked
won't
up-
give the name of the
okay,
place.
So you walked down this like hallway. You're like, okay, whatever, venue hallway. And then you just arrive in there and you can just tell it was like a congregation hall.
Yeah.
And very like
there was a
the
big
whole- it was
cross.
like low ceilings and like just like these chairs just kind of lined up like very unofficial.
Oh, okay.
And we were just
Couches
like
and stuff too. Just
they were
like,
they were just
yeah.
like some random yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just like interesting.
Yeah.
I was expecting like pews. Like you have to sit in pews to watch the show.
It was uncomfortable playing Preacher's Daughter for that show. That was a weird
Fair.
one. They never emailed us afterwards. We didn't get paid for that gig,
Oh,
Oh,
No.
which is fine. It's fair. Like there were like 12 people there. It was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But we brought the 12 people.
So
Yeah,
I'm glad that
that's true.
Chatterbox wasn't there because that would have been really embarrassing.
You know, I mean, honestly, if there were pews, that would actually be kind of cool. It'd be like
Right.
it would be like the what's the song?
Helena.
Helena.
Yeah.
Yes, Helena
Helena?
music video.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, it was just a strange night, but you know,
Yeah.
it's all right.
But shout out to those Fredonia bands.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Shouts out.
Well, keeping it to the stage still, do you have any advice for any new bands starting up that might be nervous to be performing on stage?
I think the thing that I said
Just do it. Sorry.
don't let your dreams be dreams. Because when we were doing that local spotlight, I think the thing that I said that I think is most true for me is like practice as much as you can, you know, because so much of like the energy that you're putting into the show is like the level of comfort that you have with the band members, right?
Totally.
Like knowing what each person is bringing to the table, knowing what their energy feels like, knowing how to like kind of play off of them is like the number one way that I know we're putting on a good show, right? When I'm like having fun up there and feeling good because we're all kind of like in it.
Yes.
And like those are the shows that those are the shows that I know are like the most fun for the crowd because it's like we're all having a good time.
Mhm.
You know, like so
Absolutely.
practice as often as you can.
And I would say practice like you would perform. So we'll be practicing either at Neil's or at the studio. And like we're all kind of like, we're playing and we're starting to like bop up and down and try to like move around and try to play. Like for Zach, I know he practices doing like the slide with different things so that he can go to a show and pick up like a bottle
Yeah.
and do the slide. Or like if we're gonna play Bulls on Parade, like Owen and I literally practice how we're gonna like move and how we're gonna play. Because you think it'll be easy if you know how to play the instrument, but you play it in a certain pose. So when you switch the pose up and try to move around, it's
Yeah.
completely different in
Right.
your head.
That's true.
Like from sitting to standing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say for practice. My last bit of advice for just like if you have like the nervous jitters is everybody has it.
Oh yeah.
And most people, when they're watching live music, don't either notice or care that you mess up. As long as you just keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
If you keep the energy up, you keep going, you'll make it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest advice.
People are there to dance and have fun,
Yeah.
and like as long as we facilitate a place they can do that, then it's a successful show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just practice as often as you can. You know, with like your bandmates or whatnot, because you know it just won't happen otherwise. You know, you got to make sure run through the songs, make sure they're locked in, all that good stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is also
Becomes
just
muscle
my
memory.
my sandbox. Learn the words. don't
Learn the
Don't be the band that has like an iPad on stage and they're reading off the lyrics.
Oh, no.
It's just a me thing. I
Yeah.
hate it. Learn the words and look like you're having fun.
That's true.
It's just that's just my thing.
Yeah.
but
Well, right about now is when we switch over to our next question by our promo lead, Charlie. Go for it.
Hi guys, it's not Charlie, it's me again. My question to you is actually a recycled Charlie question, but I think it applies to pretty much every band, and I'm ever since she asked it, I've been so curious to know from every band. But if you guys were a sandwich, if the Midroom Drifters was a sandwich, what sandwich would it be, and why?
ooh, that's good.
That is a good question.
I'm gonna let
This
Neil
seems
think
like-
about it because
And-
I think the newest. 'cause-
Really?
Because you're the newest member,
Right.
you'd have the most recent
I
impression of the rest of us.
was about to say that this seems like an Owen question, but
Huh?
I have an
I don't
answer
know.
in my head.
Okay.
I
No,
do
well,
wanna-
I didn't know
Here,
that one.
here,
You can
I
give your
wanna-
answer.
here.
This is just
How
purely
about-
vibes.
yeah. Why don't you share yours and then I'll stew on
Okay.
it for a minute.
So purely vibes, I'm imagining like a BLT
Mm.
on like white bread, like a panini BLT. That's been
I do
nice
like
That
and
is
panini.
such a
charred
good
up.
answer. I love BLTs so much.
There's like a
Yeah.
little slice of provolone on there.
Yep.
There's like a toothpick in it with the olive on top. That's the Midroom Drifters.
Awesome. Awesome. This is funny because I think the last time this was asked, it was to like a solo artist. So I'm very curious to hear like as a group what you guys think.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm thinking like a roast beef with like, you know, some toppings and whatnot, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. It's just that's what came into my head and like it stuck, and I'm like,
It's a solid Arby's roast.
yeah.
beef.
I mean, yeah.
Any cheese
I
on
Not
there?
sponsored.
Oh yeah, totally.
What kind of cheese?
Kind of cheese. I enjoy a good mozzarella, but I'm not sure if that would particularly go well with roast beef. Maybe
I don't know.
maybe
I've
like a
never had
cheddar
roast
or
It's a
something
pretty
like that.
versatile cheese.
Oh yeah, love mozzarella.
My
Chris,
turn?
yeah, sure. What do you say?
I'm going more like Owen's vibes here, where BLT, there's not quite enough protein in there, so I'm thinking like a turkey, but with the bacon,
Oh,
the lettuce,
a
tomato.
TBLT.
Yeah, TBLT.
Mm.
Like there's a little bit more meat in there, a little bit more to chew on.
You put a little
But
avocado
it's
on there.
you know you
The
eat it
next
and you're like
album
that was
name is-
refreshing.
TBLT.
TBLT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do like a T-blat, a T,
T-blat.
turkey, bacon, avocado, lettuce, tomato.
Oh.
That
Actually.
elevates it. Avocado elevates it so
Yeah, it
much.
does.
Just that
and
healthy
like a-
fat, you know.
And like a sriracha aioli they
Oh.
do at the cafe. Oh,
I think I'm gonna have to like make a stop at like a sandwich shop after this.
upper
Go to Country
crust.
Fair.
They do that. They do that with the aioli and the avocado.
Oh, right.
It's expensive, but it slaps. It hits every single time.
Sounds like it.
So
This might
there-
be a sandwich week, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Charlie, Olivia.
No problem.
All right. And yet another question from the booth, this time from Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey guys, like not food related, but I do have a question.
Mm.
Okay, so I usually ask like a question like if you had like one single or like one venue. So I'm gonna do that again here. If you had one venue to play at forever in the Western New York area, what would it be?
Ooh.
And you can
Like-
be like one that closed down. Like, that's
I
fine.
was just going to ask, too.
Are we talking like venues we've played or just like
In general.
idealistic?
either one, but it's the only venue you can play at though.
Okay, I'm gonna do both then for like unrealistic, or possibly realistic, but like goal venue.
Yeah.
And then venue that like I love.
Mhm.
I've had the most fun at Valentine's. I've had a great
Yeah.
time. Kevin treats us really good.
Yeah, he does.
The crowd there treats us really good. We have a good vibe with the college kids who come out.
It's also a nice treat because they don't do shows there that frequently
Mm-hmm.
Right.
in comparison.
Right. So I'm having a great time there. Goal venue, I would love to play at Town Ballroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Town Ballroom.
Yeah.
That place is cool, man.
I'm glad you said that because I couldn't think of the name of it. I was like, I know that's the place I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, we saw Mom Jeans there like last
Oh,
year.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say
Wow.
camo night.
Yeah.
Camo- It was,
Yeah, it was
indeed.
themed. Yes, I did not go, but 3 of my friends who I live with went, and I did not know it was camo night. And they walk in full makeup, full camo, everything, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
The guys from Super American were there.
Sitting on a
Oh,
bench.
Yeah.
Like I heard a lot about the show. You could not tell.
Just fact checking my facts here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, good.
The last show I saw at Town Ballroom was well before I got to college here. My sister's a really big Bastille fan, and I saw Bastille at Town Ballroom.
Oh,
If you
nice.
close your eyes.
That's right.
I've never
Indeed.
been there before. I've never been in
It is
Ballroom.
nice. It is very
It's
nice.
good. It's right across from Shays. You know, the theater
Yeah.
district's kind of cool.
But yeah, no, they have great shows there. There's a show I really wanted to go to that I missed.
Which one was it?
I don't remember the whole lineup. I do remember that Carly Cosgrove opened. And that was the most recent time that they were in Buffalo, and it was Thanksgiving break, so I wasn't in town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was evil. It was so
Yeah.
the snow here was so bad for some
Was it
reason.
that year?
It
Yeah,
was
it was this past- yeah.
year.
Gotcha.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. it
Because
was
I
so
saw
bad.
I saw Carly Cosgrove. They opened for Aaron West in the Roaring Twenties a couple of years ago. That was really cool.
I saw them at Rec Room for the Wax Bodega tour with Saturdays at Your Place, Ben Quad, and Arm's Length. And we got to
Nice.
interview all of the bands besides Arm's Length. So go
that's
check
awesome.
out those interviews.
Oh.
Yeah,
Literally
right
changed my
now.
life. They were awesome. But yeah, no, there are a lot of really great venues in Buffalo for sure.
I love Riverworks.
Riverworks.
Riverworks
is
I
so nice.
saw Hot Mulligan there. That
Oh
was so
yeah, I wanted to
cool.
go to that so bad.
That was like the coolest light show I've ever seen at like
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
show.
we saw Knocked Loose. It was crazy.
It was my first time in a mosh
Crazy.
pit.
Yeah. I also
And
caught the
was
Fun
crazy.
Bottoms there. That was really cool too.
Oh,
Fun
I
Bottoms.
did also.
I'd love to see
yeah. Yeah, we're going to Magdalena Bay as well
Oh,
in the coming
yeah.
month.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
That way, the carnival thing will be open too.
Oh,
Because we
I
saw
didn't even
Knocked
think
Loose
about
when
that.
it was like cold outside.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Anyways.
Well,
Cool.
do you guys have any upcoming shows, merch, music, or anything else that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, we are playing next at Valentine's on May 2nd. We got Asteroid Day
Awesome.
opening it up for us. That'll be
Indeed.
9 to 12-ish.
Mhm.
We usually just play until they kick us out.
Yep. Expecting encores for sure.
Of course.
I think we did 3 encores that night.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they just wouldn't stop. They were not satisfied with any.
Very persistent.
So we got that coming up. Really excited for that one. We have Kitchen Floor coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Have Fun, Be Safe coming in the next few months. And we are just continuing to try to book gigs. So if you're out there, you're listening, and you want like a band to come play, let us know. Our DMs are open, and we're
Indeed.
usually pretty free.
Hey, there you go.
Well, I think that concludes another episode of the Local Lowdown. Thank you guys so much for talking with us.
Yes,
It's been a
thank you.
pleasure.
Indeed.
thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Yes. And thank you for listening to the Local Lowdown on WCVF 88.9 The Voice and WDVL 89.5 The Inferno. We'll catch you next week. Same time.
Same place.
Bye. Have a good night.
Douche.
I didn't know that things could get much worse. And now I'm mad